What's going on, guys? This is the Conner Rueca Show. You guys already know, fast-paced, 30-minute fireside chat. I'm here to bring on high-level operators. We don't do much of the fluff, right? We want you guys to come on here, listen. Maybe you're on a car ride and just get information to implement into your business today. We don't do the long bios. We're here to educate, implement, and honestly leave you guys with clear action steps for you guys to implement right now, right? That's the biggest thing. What can you guys implement right now to do better in business, to make more money, to be more efficient, etc. Okay. And also be excited about it, right? Implementing can be super hard. We're trying to give you guys very small action steps that are going to make big impact. You guys also know every guest that I bring on is already winning. We're already all operators. We're successful in our business. So we usually like skip the origin story and just go straight to the good stuff. Today, guys, I have Aden Nurie, the CEO and co-founder of Chat ARV. Excellent dude, super young, winning at a super high level. I appreciate you for coming on here and speaking with us. Let's jump into this. Before we jump into this, share your elevator pitch, or who are you? Who are they learning from today?
Yeah, my name's Aden. I'm 17 years old. I'm the co-founder of Chat ARV. We help investors and wholesalers underwrite their properties and make offers in under a minute.
Guys, 17 years old. That's insane. I'm 22. I have 5 years on this guy, but this guy's an absolute monster when it comes to business. So Aiden, you said that you have a service, you have an AI company pretty much that helps people underwrite deals, right? From everything you've seen from building Chat ARV, why is underwriting still like somewhat the slowest and most broken part of like the real estate deal flow?
Well, the entire deal depends on the numbers, right? So if you find this comp and someone else thinks that this comp is the better comp, and it's extremely subjective as well, it makes or breaks the deal every time. You can lock up the deal for too much. It's the most important thing for sure.
Is there a bigger problem with people locking the deal up too high, or people not having the right comps and giving too low of an offer to actually get the deal done? Is there like a balance, or is it 50-50? What are you seeing? Because I know that's like two separate contradicting problems.
I think if someone's offer is too low, it can only help them, right? They can, if they're wholesaling, they bring a better deal to the investor. If they're the investor, they'll save more on the deal. If your offer's too high, on the other hand, and this is something that I think beginner wholesalers fall victim to more often than, experienced ones, they'll make the offer, the seller will be excited, or the seller won't be excited and they'll justify making a higher offer, looking at higher trim properties that are renovated at a much better level than other comps that are more comparable to their subject. And they end up having to cancel the contract. I have a good friend of mine who's in high school, got a deal under contract this month for way too much. He called a bunch of buyers. None of them want it. They say he's 50 grand too high. So I think too high is always a bigger problem than too low.
Interesting. Okay. That's good. Aiden, when you're underwriting a deal, right, there's many pillars in place, or at least there's a lot of factors in place, right? Could be bed bath count, could be the area, could be the streets, could be the neighborhood you're built. What are some of the main factors that we cannot look over while underwriting?
Yeah, I think a very important thing is neighborhood, right? Are the comps you're looking at in the same neighborhood as your subject property? Something that we take into account on Chat ARV are some of these like historic type properties where they're like a legacy property in that area. You can only compare those to other historic properties. So I guess everyone can go on Zillow or PropStream and filter down like to 0.2 miles, right? Look within 15% above and below square footage, and look at the mini map and find which comps are closest to the subject. But then you have to look at the images, right? Is this property brick like my subject, right? Does it have a garage like my subject property? So all of those things are factors that you need to take into account. And even after you filter down to maybe from 40 to like 20 based off of just the numbers, right? You have a bunch of properties that are 3.2s that are within, 15% of your square footage. You still need to figure out if you're comparing apples to apples there, which will probably take you an additional 10, 15 minutes.
When we were doing wholesaling, a lot of our business was in Savannah, Georgia, and like even a property that was like across the street from it, it was obviously a different subdivision, but like you cannot compare those two, right? From a wholesaler's perspective, like, dude, why not? Like, it makes sense. They're literally right there on the same street. They look very similar, but like, we'll go to flippers and be like, bro, that's in that side of town. And we're like, bro, it's across the street. But no, it's like really key how like these subdivisions work in specific neighborhoods. Do you see that problem happening a lot in like smaller cities, or are they also happening in the metros in terms of like the subdivisions being very like you have to compare subdivisions within itself. You can't go cross pollinate.
I think a general rule of thumb is, like crossing major roads will show you different property types. If it's on like the same road in general and you go like a neighborhood over, the property shouldn't be too different. But I guess you can always factor off of like, okay, if this neighborhood everything's selling for around $200,000, and then the next neighborhood everything's selling for like $400,000, and these are all ARV properties, you can sort of infer that like maybe I should stay in this general area instead of going to the neighborhood above it. And those are also factors that we do take into account. But yeah, I think it doesn't in smaller cities, it is more apparent than in larger cities because for example, let's say in Tampa, Florida, right? In New Tampa, like the suburb, everything in that area is really like the ARV for all those properties is either between like 200 or like 800 to a million, right? It's not huge. But then if you go to like a tiny city like Belleville, Illinois, right? You'll have properties that are selling for around 200,000 in the zip code 62226, and then just a little bit over, the properties will be selling for maybe like 80 to like 100,000. So I think it is volatile in smaller cities for sure.
Okay. And then your software, right? Can you tell us more about like how are you guys? So you guys are comping for people, single family houses, specifically investors, making offers on properties. What is your guys' AI specifically doing?
So, Chat ARV to get you to maybe the top 20 properties, it's all just an algorithm. AI is only at the tail end. So you'll type in the address. We'll look at 200 plus properties that sold within a mile and 12 months of your subject and get that 200 down to maybe 15 or 20 of the most comparable based off of beds, bath square footage, just like you can do if you're filtering on PropStream or Zillow, for example. Once we get to that sort of comp amount, we're going to look at the images of each property and making sure that these are renovated properties so we could actually give you the ARV, and that'll bring us from maybe 15 to like 10 properties. And once we're at those 10 properties, we're looking at which ones are like the same build as the subject. So we're not going to compare a two-story house to a one-story house, a house with
Yeah.
siding to a house with brick, a house with a garage to a house with no garage. All those different things are very important. And that will bring us down to the top six most comparable properties.
And is there a loading time? Like in like when you're skip tracing, like a free tracing service, truepeoplesearch.com, it takes like 5 minutes to like get all the information. Is it like that, or is it like
No, there's definitely time that it takes for the AI to analyze each property. Sometimes it'll take longer than other times because some properties will have like 4 images and other properties will have like 10 images to look through. So it's thoroughly looking through every image of the property because if one property has like a decent looking kitchen and a decent looking bathroom, but it's not amazing, it'll rank lower than a property that has like a beautiful looking kitchen and everything because that one will be truly renovated. So on average, it takes around a minute and a half to find all the comps.
and then does it give you any information after that? Does it give you like ARV? Does it give you MAO, max allowable offers? What else is it giving?
Yeah, so once we pull the top 6 most comparable, you can either select the 3 or 4, however many you deem to be the most comparable, or the AI can pick for you. There's a button there. And then once we do this, if you scroll down, we have an ARV, a shareable report that has PDF and a link that you could share with people. And afterwards, you scroll down a little bit. And if you're going to flip the property, there's a calculator there that shows you what your profit would be. You can integrate what the asking price is if it's on market or a wholesaler sent you the deal. And then if you're a wholesaler, you can tell the AI what needs to be done repair wise. It's going to look at the images to see how much the repairs will be, and it'll give you the initial offer price and MAO and sale price to buyer based off of the chosen assignment fee you input.
What is the perspective of like your clients now going from manual comping to AI assisted comping? Like, is it like changing the game for them? What are you seeing? What are the use cases? Are they not worried about that bottleneck anymore? Is that bottleneck completely out of the picture? Tell us about like the experience.
So for people that are new to investing in wholesaling, it's nice because they can cross-reference our ARVs with what they pull manually. For people that already know what they're doing, this helps them move faster, especially for people that are doing, pay per click, for example, right? The name of the game in that space is speed to your lead. So if they can comp their property within the same minute or so that they got the lead to begin with, they can call and make the offer before anyone else if they're using those services where you share leads or regardless. Like you need to call that seller very quickly. And another use case that we see very often is wholesalers that cold call. They'll have their VAs, or if they're cold calling themselves, start running the comp while they're on the phone with the seller. The seller asks for like a ballpark or what their offer could be, and then they just make these offers on the phone. So I think the only way we're really helping them in a major way is helping them do what took them a while to do manually faster, and they just move on these deals much quicker. They know if it's going to be able to do something that they cannot work on for sure.
Did I like when we were comping, bro? Like there was a point where we were being in around like 10 to 12 leads, not 10 to 12 leads, like 20 to 30 leads per day. And we probably get in touch with around 8 to 12 of them like within like the next few hours. And I would say like 50% of them wanted an offer right then and there. And what we would do is we would throw it into a stage that we have in closure control called needs underwriting. And what would happen is we would actually have an underwriter. We would have a VA underwriter and also my brother, and they would be hanging out in needs underwriting pretty much all day, comping these properties. So like our acquisition managers weren't comping. We actually have like designated people comping properties, and they were also doing this. And there was a huge bottleneck, bro, in terms of like the acquisition manager qualifying the lead and then sending it to needs underwriting because we need our acquisition managers to keep calling people, right? We're all about volume, keep talking to people, putting to needs underwriting. Then our guys on the underwriting side actually underwriting the properties. I would say probably take them like 10 to 20 minutes each property, right? Which is like horrific. And then it'd get fished back to the acquisition manager to give a call. And what we've seen is that like sequence, acquisition manager to underwriter to acquisition manager, there was such a fucking crazy bottleneck. And like we'd come like the day would end and be like, why is there like 14 properties in needs underwriting? Like these need to be underwritten. And we're like, all right, we gotta like get it done before the day ends so that ready tomorrow we can give these offers. But every single day, as we kept qualifying leads, qualifying leads, qualifying leads, qualifying leads, that needs underwriting pile would just grow, 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 and grow. I actually haven't heard many people like talk about that problem. Maybe we were just being way too analytical, being way too specific about it. But I'm sure like the bigger teams experience that. Would you say that's what you see as well? Like bigger teams are seeing that problem too, or is that kind of different?
Our enterprise sort of, clients, they have, like, really good systems, right? They have their acquisition reps that cold call these leads, and they have once the acquisition reps generate the lead, put it into their CRM, whatever, they have underwriters that go ahead, and figure out what the deal's worth, and the underwriters are using Chat ARV to cross-reference, and then they put it somewhere in their CRM for needs offer, and then the acquisition rep or manager, whatever, goes and makes that offer.
I'm talking more about before, like before they had Chat ARV. Did you get like any of the feedback what they were going through? Were they kind of going through the same thing as us?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on like what size of clients you're talking about because some of these people that are doing like hundreds of thousands of dollars in assignment fees per month, their systems are done, right? That they're completely dialed. They were fine before Chat ARV. They're just using it to enhance. But I think there are a lot of people that are like doing multiple five figures a month that have that problem where they'll just I know guys personally that have their leads that they generate all day long, right? And then they have 14 leads or more in needs underwriting, and then them or their partners will underwrite those deals at night whenever they can't cold call, and then they just make the offers in the morning. So that's what I see a lot, and we've been able to get rid of that problem for people because they can just underwrite as soon as they get the lead, you know?
And then they're giving the offer on the
Exactly.
qualifying phone call.
Yeah. Or
Oh,
so I guess maybe they might hang up and call back, right? But it's still quicker.
that's absolutely insane. What is the difference between like, because I've seen clients on closure control use just ChatGPT, and I'm like, okay, like use it. I've never used ChatGPT to underwrite a deal, but is it suffice? Is it good enough?
Yeah, well, like underwriting in general is broad, right? You can underwriting can just be math, right? On the numbers. Hey, ChatGPT, does this deal like pencil, right? Is it something that I'd normally do? That's fine, right? But whenever people say I tell ChatGPT, find me comps for this deal or what's the ARV for this property, that's where it's a problem, you know. And I think it's bad because ChatGPT is not connected to any property data, right? So it's just gonna go on the web, see what properties show up. Maybe they'll look at like a Zillow listing or whatever, and they'll say this property is for sale in that same zip code. This property is for sale in the same zip code, and then they'll just say the ARVs, whatever, the average of like the first properties that it sees. But I I I just highly recommend against using GPT for generally just finding the worth of a property because it doesn't have the connection to the data points needed to accurately value a property.
Is it gonna like hallucinate and throw out random numbers, or it doesn't do that? Because I know it'll do that with like, let's just say like you wanted to get like some sources of evidence on some specific argument you're trying to make with a friend or something like that, and it'll throw like random documents at you that aren't actual real evidence. Do they also do that with numbers in terms of properties or?
So I wouldn't put it past it, right? I think I've seen and experienced that a few times. I imagine they're improving on ChatGPT every day, but I'm still in high school. I use ChatGPT for my math homework, and it does get it wrong.
Damn. Damn, that's crazy. Okay, so clients are now using it more to just speed to lead, give offers faster. What are some stats you have to share in terms of like how that has impacted the business in the large scale?
We're at a little bit over 105,000 comps ran over the past 6 months or so. So that's pretty big. You know, people are generating a lot of comps. That's one of the only metrics that we're tracking actively. We added a feature recently where people can send to sellers. So I have yet to check out exactly how many people have done that. But ran into a problem with Google recently where all of our emails are going to spam because people were sending the LOIs from the Chat ARV email. So I think
Mm,
they broke our Gmail account. They're probably doing volume.
damn, that's awesome. And then like okay, so in the sales process, like something that we're super good at in automations, AI, nurturing that relationship with sellers, we still make sure that there's a place where humans make the final call, right? Or humans like give information. For example, if someone rejects your offer, you're going to put it into the offer rejected stage, but at the same time, you're also going to put their personality types. The human, there's four personality types: amiable, expressive, driver, analytical. We tell our clients to put two. If you put two, let's say you put driver analytical, that's like me. When the seller gets the offer rejected campaign, the copywriting of the text messages changes to driver analytical vocabulary and tonality. So what's happening is the human is giving the heavy work to the automation and the system and the CRM, but it's still giving it information to keep it personalized to that specific person. So it's kind of like a dance, it's a tango. In underwriting specifically, is there that or is there a final call that you would say like the human has to make in terms of judgments or opinions?
Yeah. So
Or
we go from 150 to 200 sales down to the top 6 most comparable properties, and then you have to choose. So we just w like 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 I said earlier, if you're on Zillow, PropStream, whatever source, the MLS even, you have to manually filter those properties down, and you get to decide what your comps are. In the perfect world, which happens more often than not with Chat ARV, the same 3 or 4 comps you would have chose will be, uh, right there in our top 6. So you have to choose those top 6. We're not automatically choosing and generating an ARV for you. We're just helping you find the most comparable properties as fast as possible. So they then have to approve that and select the properties they deem to be the right comps.
what's the reason you make the human choose it?
There's just too much of a margin of error if we just choose the most comparable off of relevance because I don't know. I think there's all sorts of reasons why if you look at all 6 properties, let's say that there's like a $50,000 range between the sale prices of them all. So whether or not you choose 123 Sesame Street and the two others on the top or the three on the bottom, the ARV is really going to be the same. There might be something where okay, this property here has the garage on like the same side of the property as me. It's on the same side of the street. Like there's so many random reasons why. We should let people choose their comps themselves. And above all, I think it would just be a terrible idea if we completely automated it because just like closer control, right? There needs to be human input.
That's fire. Are you guys also giving them like the insights of that, like the garage on the other side, like in some notes, or is it do they have to like click into the property and look at it themselves?
No, the garage on the other side is like a pretty silly example. Like
Yeah.
this subject has an ADU, this comp doesn't. This comp is lakefront, the subject isn't. So like those are things that we show them on the screen, which should influence their decisions. Yeah, it does off the sort of camera. Does that answer that question? I think.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because like there could also still be human error there. I'm curious if you human error in terms of them like clicking the property, and I was just curious if you still give them support in terms of like, hey, this is number one recommended, this is number two, this is number three. Like, that's what I was asking. What would you say like people do wrong when they're trying to use AI with underwriting?
I think that you should not just take what we provide and run with it. Or there's since we've launched, right, there are multiple other AI deal analyzers, AI comping tools that have came about. So I think it's important to note if you see comps, the sale prices, anything, if anything looks too good to be true, cross reference. Go on Zillow, go on PropStream, go on the MLS. There's no reason to do a bad deal, make a bad offer, because you were too lazy to go and cross-reference. I think these AI tools are just supposed to make people faster and more effective. So I'd say don't let it cloud judgment in any way.
I love that. Same with us. We say the exact same thing, cross reference everything. You know what I mean? Cross reference. I just had a fire question. I totally forgot about it.
But I think off the camera, you know some of them, right?
Not really, to be honest. We haven't been talking to too many AI comping. I've been telling clients Chat ARV, like they're the most prominent, what I've heard. And obviously we're affiliated with you. So we have you guys in our system. We're trying to get you guys native in the system. But also I've been telling people like, I don't even if you're not using Chat ARV, I would just comp it yourself, but use Chat GPT to get an understanding of the area. Like I'll tell people like something that we're trying to do. We're trying to make it so that whenever someone's calling a property, we have some AI to search the address of the property and get like the local sandwich spot nearby because a lot of our guys are virtual. They really don't know the neighborhoods. Local sandwich spot of where's the Starbucks? Where's the closest McDonald's? Where's the schools? And they can reference that on the phone calls. So like that's how like we're leveling up right now. We're trying to make it so that we personalize the selling experience for the seller as much as possible, even though you're 2,800 miles away, right? You're in California, the deal's in Georgia. That's where closer control is getting to, personalization. Where would you say Chat ARV is going to get to going into like mid-year of 2026?
Yeah. So we're going to dive heavy into helping you decision make on your deals.
So that's where I would say sales processes and CRMs are going to get to. You know what I mean? Like the biggest thing is personalization, right? AI bots are literally going to be calling these sellers. It's going to be annoying as fuck. They're not going to know who's a human, who's not. So how do we differentiate? Personalization. How is like comping going to get better throughout the year?
Yeah. So, with the large sample size of properties that we have as comps, people give us a thumbs up or thumbs down every time they input an address. They tell us why it's a good comp, why it's a bad comp. We've had over like 500 feedback calls over the past few months. We have a lot of information and insights on how to improve our system, and we're making slight tweaks to our algorithm every single day, which is marginally increasing our accuracy at any given moment in specific markets and nation. So I think that in general, we're just trying to optimize for being better accurate every day as best as we can, right? So disclosure access is coming this month. We're going to have data in Texas finally. Thousands of people that weren't able to use ChatARV beforehand will finally be able to use it. So that's something that I'm super excited about.
That's fire. So again, the non-disclosure states were just huge. That's like Texas. Well, what other states are non-disclosure?
Some of them are kind of irrelevant, get
No,
Idaho,
that's true.
Alaska, but then there's
Yep.
some like Alabama and some of those states are partial disclosure. But the most important one is Texas.
Yep. 100. You guys are gathering the data, which is huge. We just started doing that for our clients. We're gathering the data of usage and like what copywriting is working. And what we're doing is we're pretty much creating dot plots and data sets saying, hey, if you want to hit 3 deals a month, this is exactly what closer control clients are doing to hit 3 deals a month. They're making this amount of calls, they're getting this amount of leads. These are the marketing channels. And what we're doing is we're helping our clients scale, not through personal opinions and judgments and what works for us, but based off of all of our clients' success. And we've been talking to our clients a lot, and everyone is on board with this. Everyone wants to win, everyone wants to get better. And that's like something that we're doing with our data. So what you guys are doing with data is you guys are like just getting more and more accurate. Whatever's a thumbs up, note that. Whatever's thumbs down, make sure that doesn't happen again. And it gets better and better with the AI.
Yeah,
That's
I
fucking
mean, yeah, the only moat that we can have in a market where people are making deal analyzers every day is having the largest sample size of data to which we can improve on our AI model and in turn be the most accurate sort of place for AI comp.
that's so fire. That's so fire. Okay. From a founder's perspective, what's one thing people misunderstand about building these AI products for the real estate game? I know the real estate game is like, it's pretty old, a lot of older guys. How are people handling the new wave that's coming in for you?
I think usually, like throughout the past like 20 years or so, most tech solutions have been they've came from like a personal problem. There's been passion behind it. People were working really hard on the solution. And in today's day, AI has enhanced people's ability to create micro solutions, right? People who normally wouldn't be able to solve problems are creating solutions. And with that, I think there's like a saturation with all these tools, right? There's a different tool for people to use every day. And I think the only people that will win are the people that actually care and are working days and nights to solve these problems. So I think that people are just going about it a little bit wrong, just whipping something up to get to a certain dollar amount in monthly recurring revenue, right? Even the same thing can be said for people that are wholesaling just to make an assignment fee and not to solve the seller's problem, not to find off market deals for investors, right? Like I think the people that do the best wholesale deals are the people that are looking specifically for a certain buyer. They're saying I only want to make maybe 5 or 10K on each deal, but they provide these people with a bunch of deals, and they're actually adding value, right? But the people that don't last in wholesaling are the people that come into it, try for a month, don't get a deal, and then they quit and then start drop shipping, you know? So it just has to be value first, you know?
I agree. Yeah, Valley First is huge. It's like you're right because a lot of these AI companies now they're all fabulous. Like they're all helping people, they're creating value. But it's also like just like whipped up different AIs put together. Like even we a lot of our products, like we're just bringing different AIs from different places, packaging it up, making it nice, making it specifically for real estate wholesalers and selling it. But we have like the back end of it, you know what I mean, to handle it. But yeah, I think that's something that we should all be aware about. What would you say is the has been the hardest decision you've had to make as a founder building in the AI real estate industry?
I think the hardest thing for me and my co-founder was sacrificing school to work on the company. I left high school. My co-founder deferred college. So the mission is to solve this problem for people, and it requires some level of sacrifice. You know.
I love it. Same with us. Same with us, bro. Like Reed, my youngest brother, he's technically still in college. He's running the University of Arizona online asynchronous school, but like he dropped out of UC Riverside when he was a sophomore. I was like, bro, finally, thank goodness. I should have done that too. Okay, that's fine. What does it look like to use Chat ARV, by the way? Like, what's the pricing? Can you share the pricing? How soon can they use it?
Yeah. Let me look at the closing control discount real quick. 30% off for the first 3 months, right?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. So Chat ARV is $89 a month for the base plan. Anyone who uses closure control has 30% off for 3 months. So it'll be around 25. Yeah, with that, you'll have around 100 comps a month, and you can comp single family properties in all disclosure states, non-disclosure states coming at the end of January.
Fire. Let's go. Yeah, guys, I'll put all the information in the chat as this is Aden, 17 years old. For people who want to follow you, get to know you, see what you're building, your brand, learn more from you, where should they go?
Yeah, my Instagram is Aden.Nurie.
And then does Tad ARV have an Instagram as well?
Yeah, the Chat ARV Instagram is chatarv.ai.
Awesome. Cool, brother. What's something that you can leave us off with?
If your business still doesn't have AI implemented in 2026, you're going to get left behind.
Wonderful. Okay. Aden, thank you so much. This was super clean, thoughtful. I know a lot of people are listening to this. Guys, implement as soon as possible. At ARV, underwriting with AI, it can be done like that. Your problem can be solved so quickly. You wouldn't have to go through the bottlenecks that I go through and what you're probably going through right now. Let's change it. 2026 is all of ours year to make it happen, to see $1 million in the bank account. Aden, I appreciate you for breaking down how AI fits into the real estate operations. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, brother.